Now that you know some of the basics in regards to Premiere Pro, we're going to dive in a little more deeply and explore how we can use the various panels within the application. I'm going to start a brand new project, and when you first start Premiere and start a new project, you'll have the ability to give this project a name. I'm just going to call this Demo 4. You also can go ahead and specify the project location. I'm going to leave this project in the same folder that I've been working from. And you can go ahead and choose to import clips. At this point, I'm just going to click Create and make a new project. Once you do so, Premiere is going to open up, and as you can see, it's going to show the various panes, although we have nothing in our project yet. What I'll be doing is I'll go ahead and import some media. So we did explore some different ways to import media. You can double-click in this window, which will allow you to browse your computer and you can bring elements in. You can also go ahead and just drag elements into this window. So that's what I'm going to do for this particular example. Here is a folder and it contains a variety of video clips. So I have a bunch of video clips. I'm just going to simply grab all of these and I'm just going to place them inside of the Premiere window. And as you can see, they all get imported. I'll bring in these clips from the Mexico bin as well. And in addition to these video clips, I have some still images. I will select all of the still images and bring them into the project. And in a different folder, I have some audio, so I'm going to bring in a few audio clips as well. Now you can see I have quite a few items inside my project panel. I'm going to click the tilde key so that I can open these in a larger view. Currently, I'm viewing everything in icon view. I'm going to switch to list view, which will show everything as a list. Because I'm viewing in list view, I have access to the metadata that is associated with the particular files. You can see that some of the files have pink color chip next to them. Some are blue, some are purple, and some are green. These various labeling colors are associated with the type of file. So by default, when I bring in a still image, it's going to show up with this pink color. If we view something that has both audio and video, it's going to show up as a blue color chip. Something that is only video will be purple, and finally audio-only files are going to be green. This can be a helpful way to help you sort your various items. When you're working in Premiere, one of the challenges is going to be sorting elements and making sure that you're able to easily find the various elements. This is where the bins come into place. Creating the bins will give you an easy way to organize the various elements. It is possible to import elements when they already exist inside of the folders, and in that way, the bins will already exist. But sometimes you might just bring elements in without any sort of bin structure, and in that case, you're probably going to want to get organized. That's what we're going to do here. I'm going to select all of my still images, so I'll select the topmost still image, I'll scroll down and I'll shift click to select all of the still images, and then I'm going to right click and I will choose New Bin from Selection. This will allow me to create a new bin and all of the images are going to be inside of that bin. I'll go ahead and I'll call this bin Stills. As you can see, the bins are going to have a separate color. They will have an orange shade. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll select my audio files. I'm going to right click once again and choose New Bin from Selection. We'll call this Audio. And inside of the audio bin, I'm going to create a sub bin. So I'll make a new bin, and this one is going to be called Music. And then I'm simply going to drag the musical audio files into this bin. And then back in my audio bin, I'll right click on the audio bin and I'll select New Bin, and this will be called Interviews. And I'll put my interview audio clip inside of there. In this way, I can make sure that my project is very organized by placing certain file types inside of a bin or a folder. I'll collapse this bin, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to preview some of these other files. The file names that I have for the most part are not very descriptive. Some of them, like this one and this one, have the name of what the subject is. But for the most part, all of my clips came off of my camera and they just have these generic names. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the icon view. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to make a new bin. I'm going to call this bin Whale Sharks. Then what I'll do is I'll select all of the clips that have to do with whale sharks. I'll be holding down my Command or Control key so I can select clips out of sequential order. Once I have all of the whale shark clips selected, I'm going to drag them into the whale shark bin. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some other bins. If you don't know what a clip contains, remember that it is possible to hover scrub over the clip. So this clip contains a turtle. I'm going to right click and make a new bin, and we'll call this turtle. And then I'll select all of my turtle video clips. And once again, I'm going to hold down my Command or Control key so I can select out of sequential order. And then I'll add the turtle clips into this bin. Next, we'll make another new bin. We'll call this one fish. And I'm going to select all of the fish clips and we'll place them in the fish bin. And I'll just continue to do this until the rest of my media is organized. Now that I've placed all of my video clips into the sub bins, I'm going to make a master bin and we'll call this video. And then I'm simply going to select all of the bins that contain video clips and I'll place them inside of the video bin. Now if I go back to list view and I drill open the video bin, you can see that all of our video files have been organized based on type. This will make it easier for me when it comes time to building my sequence. The final thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to make one more bin, and this bin is going to house my sequences. Because my sequences are essentially the projects that I'm going to be working on, I'm going to name this bin _sequence. If I go ahead and sort my bins based on name, the file that has the underscore will be at the top of the list. This will be helpful so that I can easily find my sequence elements, especially if I have a project that has a lot of different sub bins within it. I'm going to hit tilde to return to the normal view. And as you can see, I've organized all of my assets by placing them in bins, labeling the bins, and ensuring that everything is exactly where I need it to be. The final item that I do want to mention is sometimes you may want to label clips differently. So let's hit tilde one more time. And let's go into one of our video bins. And what we'll do is we'll open up one of these bins. So let's look at the seal bin. I'm going to switch to my icon view so that I can actually see these items. And of course, it's now taken me out to the main project window. So I'll need to double click on video and then double click on seals. Now I can actually see a thumbnail preview of the various clips. And if I hover scrub, I can get an idea of what this clip contains. What you may want to do is you may want to identify clips in a different way. So if we go back to list view and we right click on the label, we'll be able to add a different label color. Sometimes I do this so that I can tag certain clips and easily visually identify them as something that I might want to use in my project. So I'm going to change the color of this clip to cerulean. And you can see that now this clip has a teal label. So this is a good visual way that I could identify this particular clip. I also might want to make a note about this clip. So if we come to description, I could say something like harbor seal flipping. Or I might want to add a comment to one of these clips that says something like 3-second good capture. Anything that you find to be helpful, you can go ahead and add a description. This may help you later on, especially because it's easy for you to search for various clips. So in addition to having your project window, you also will be able to search through your project. If we go back to the main project window and I search for fish, it's going to highlight some of these items. If we go to list view, and once again, if we search for fish, it's going to open up any of the files that have the name fish associated with them. So you can see many of my still images are named with fish somewhere in the name, and I have one of my video files that's named with fish. If we change our search and search for seal, you'll see that it's going to bring up all of our seal items. If your files are named, this is a great way that you can sort. And one other thing that I want to show you is, let's say that I went into one of my octopus files. I'll clear my search by clicking the X. Let's go into our octopus file, and for whatever reason, let's just add the word seal to this description. If I now search for seal, you will see that not only do all of the files that have the name seal as part of their name show up, but this octopus file that we've added a description of seal also shows up. In addition to searching based on the file name, if you add something to one of the other meta columns, that will affect the search results as well. Knowing how to find your files is half the battle, especially if you've taken time to preview your files and made certain notations about a particular part of the clip that you might want to include in your project. This is a time-consuming part of the project, and when you're dealing with a lot of different media, it's very helpful to be able to sort and find elements that you've brought into your project.